Today's unfortunate story is about a Donald Harvey. He was an American serial killer who claimed to have murdered 87 people. Though he has 37 confirmed victims, he was able to do this during his time as a hospital orderly. His spree took place between the years of 1970 and the years of 1987. Harvey claimed to have begun killing to ease the pain of patients, mostly cardiac patients, by smothering them with their pillows. However, he gradually grew to enjoy killing and became a self-described angel of death.
Donald Harvey was a 35-year-old man who had been working in hospitals since he was 18 years old. He was quite bizarre, and on certain levels raised some doubts as to whether or not this guy was reciting some sort of fantasy.
At the time of his death, Harvey was serving 28 life sentences at the Toledo Correctional Institution in Toledo, Ohio, having pled guilty to murder charges to avoid execution. Donald Harvey was born in Hamilton, Ohio on April 15th, year of 1952. The oldest of three children born to Ray and Goldie Harvey. He was raised in the tiny Appalachian town of Boonville, Kentucky, where his parents were struggling tobacco farmers and members of the local Baptist church. From the ages of 5 to 18, Harvey was sexually molested by both an uncle and a neighbor, but he told no one except his sister, and only after the abuse ended. Harvey dropped out of school in the 9th grade, but he earned a correspondence school GED in the year of 1968. After an arrest for burglary in March year 1971, Harvey enlisted in the United States Air Force, but was discharged after 9 months due to 2 suicide attempts. After these nervous breakdowns, he came to terms with his homosexuality. Harvey began working in hospitals at the age of 18. His first medical job was an orderly at the Marymount Hospital in London, Kentucky. He later confessed that during the 10-month period he worked at the hospital, he killed at least a dozen patients. His second victim was killed in a room with Danny George, a 12-year-old child. Harvey was insistent that he killed Pearlie out of a sense of empathy for the suffering of those who were terminally ill, but also admitted that many of the killings were committed due to anger at the victims. His first victims ranged from middle-aged to elderly and were usually broad in range, including men and women of various races, ethnicities, and backgrounds. The only thing they had in common was that they were all cardiac patients. The full extent of Harvey's crimes may never be known since so many were undetected for so long. He did not use any particular modus apparatus and used many methods to kill his victims, such as arsenic, cyanide, insulin, and suffocation, miscellaneous poisons, morphine, turning off the ventilators, administration of fluid tainted with hepatitis B, HIV, which resulted in hepatitis infection, but no HIV infection, and illness rather than death, and insertion of coil coat hangers into a catheter, causing an abdominal puncture and subsequent peritonitis. Cyanide and arsenic were his most used methods, with Harvey administering them through food or injections. The majority of Harvey's crimes took place at the Marymount Hospital, the Cincinnati VA Medical Hospital, and Cincinnati's Drake Memorial Hospital. At various times, he worked as an orderly or an autopsy assistant. Harvey did not limit his victims to helpless hospital patients. When he suspected his lover and roommate, Carl Howler, of infidelity. He poisoned Howeller's food with arsenic so he would be too ill to leave their apartment. He poisoned two of his neighbors, sickening one, Diane Alexander, by putting hepatitis serum in her drink, and killing the other, Helen Metzger, by putting arsenic in her pie. He also killed Howeller's father, Henry, with arsenic. After keeping his crimes hidden for 17 years, however, it slipped in March year of 1987. An autopsy of John Powell, who had died abruptly after spending several months on life support following a motorcycle accident, revealed large amounts of cyanide in his system. Harvey became a person of interest when investigators learned he had been forced to resign from the Cincinnati VA hospital after he was caught stealing body parts for occult rituals. At the time, most hospitals did not vet orderlies as closely as doctors or nurses. When they brought Harvey in for questioning, he confessed to Powell's murder, claiming he had euthanized him with cyanide. In August, the year of 1987, Harvey pled guilty to 24 counts of first-degree murder. In accordance with the plea agreement, he was sentenced to 3 concurrent terms of life in prison. The plea agreement allowed prosecutors to seek the death penalty if more murders came to light. With this in mind, that November, Harvey pled guilty in Laurel County, Kentucky, Circuit Court to killing 9 patients at Merrimont in the year of 1970s. He was sentenced to life plus 20 years to run concurrently with Ohio's sentence. Ultimately, Harvey pled guilty to 37 murders. However, he confessed to killing as many as 50 people. Harvey was admitted to the Ohio prison system on October 26th, the year of 1987. On March 28th, the year of 2017, authorities reported that Harvey had been found in his cell, severely beaten. He died on March 30th, year 2017. On May 3rd, 2019, fellow inmate James Elliott was charged with aggravated murder and other charges related to the death of Donald Harvey. In September year of 2019, he was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison after pleading guilty to killing Harvey. The sentence was originally ordered to run consecutively to his other sentences, but was later changed to run concurrently. Elliott would have become eligible for parole in the year of 2046, when he would have been 71 years old.